camera manufacturers want you to think about photography in a certain way, and I can understand that from their point, but from the point of photographers, I think we should stop thinking about photography in terms of sharpness or clarity or dynamic range, because photography, it's not all about these technical aspects. Yes, you need a camera, you need lenses, you need a certain set of settings, and you need some technical elements to produce the photo. But this is just like a painter needing brushes and canvas and colors, or a writer needing a pen and paper to write, or a type machine or a computer to write on. So yes, you need some technical tools, but the tools are a separate thing than the art of doing that craft. You never talk about, when you're thinking about race cars, if you just praise the beautiful bold lines of the car or the beautiful stickers from the car, and you're not talking about the engine, for example, you're missing something. If you're not talking about the skill of the driver, even though all the drivers have cars with roughly the same technical aspects, yet there is 1, 2, or 3 drivers that are better than everyone else. So it's the same when you're talking about photography. You can't analyze a photo just by looking at the technical elements that compose it, or the technical elements that made that photo possible. It's not the brush to be praised for the beauty of the painting. Yes, the camera has a much more important ratio in producing the final product, which is a photo. But if you're not doing photography as a way of living, then in my personal opinion, you don't need to have the latest state-of-the-art camera. Because when you're talking of pure photography, I'm not talking here about photography that you are doing in order to be sold to agencies, to publicists that really want a clear, sharp image with low ISO noise, because this is easier for them to use. I'm talking about photography as an art medium, as a medium of expressing yourself. Well, when we're talking about that, I think the camera is not that important, because the world around you, it's not about sharpness. When you're admiring the sunset or the sunrise, or when you're looking at a person, you're not consciously thinking about how sharp it is, how true the color is, how deep the shadow, how dark the shadows are. You are experiencing the moment. And because photography, it's really about you, because you're photographing the things that you like. The moment when you become absolutely true to that, the moment when you 100% photograph the things that you really like, then your photos become more than a simple duplicate of reality, and they transform themselves into your own personal interpretation of reality, because you take a certain portion of photography from your own point of view. You decide that from this angle, that thing that I like, that moment that I like, that light, that element of interest looks like something that I would love. And when you do that and you realize that photography is just a way of expressing yourself, not not something that should be sharper and clear and have all that technical elements attached to them. When you realize that, then you don't care what the camera you're using. You simply don't care, because it's about the experience. It's not about all the reviews that you are reading. And it's a bad thing that people are describing photos just like they are reading reviews on cameras and lenses. They look at a photo, for example, landscape photo, and they say something like, yeah, I really like it because it has clarity all over the image. And I'm really curious how the person did that. This is like saying, I'm really curious how you managed to write down the word table. It's not about that. You will learn to write table and then you just move on. Just like in photography, you will learn to do focus taking and then you'll have your images clear and sharper all the way. But just to quote Ansel Adams, because I'm 110% fully agree with him, a sharper image of a fuzzy concept, it's the worst thing that you could have. And I have to admit, the first time that I've read this quote, I didn't get it. It was something I don't know what this guy talks about. I mean, everything's about a sharp image. You need a sharp image. You need details in the shadows. You need your highlights not to be burned. You need colors, or you need black and white, or you need, if you're photographing portraits, you need a blurred background. You can't do portraits without a blurred background. If you're doing portraits, you can't cut off the forehead. You can't cut off the hands. Well, take a look at photos made by great portrait photographers, and you'll see cuts in the head and cuts in the hands, because photography, it's all about an experience. Photography, it's about something that we call the moment, and that moment, it's different when we're talking about portrait photography, fashion photography, landscape photography, nature photography, wild photography. It's different. When the moment is right and you are in the right moment and in the right place, the camera will simply matter no more. It can, I realize that this claim can get a lot of people to comment blah 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 and not agree with me, and it's perfectly okay. That is the beauty of photography. We can do photography, everyone, in our personal way. Every person can see photography for what he or she wanted to see it. If you are happy with the way you see photography, then continue to see it like that. But if you feel that something is missing, maybe it's because you're looking at photography from the wrong point of view. Maybe you need to look more inside you and more with your feelings and with your heart and with your soul. And maybe, just maybe that will be the turning point that will, I don't know, make you feel different about all this. So I realized that this small rant, it's not something that everyone would totally appreciate or totally like or totally agree. But from time to time, I'm thinking of concepts, and I'm thinking of different aspects of photography. that I want to record my thoughts on. Maybe 10 years from now I will not agree with all this, so it's a nice experiment to have. So thanks for watching. If you are thinking that this information was interesting, you can subscribe, and until next time you can continue photographing, because it's the only way that you can advance and get better. And you can also further support me by buying one of my editing courses, and the link is in the description of this video. Thanks again, and bye-bye.